morning, how are you? Everything looks so lovely and fresh. I love it here at Paddy's. I need some shallots and carrots for my Stifado. Here we go. Perfect. Beautiful. All right, that's everything. Off to Paddy's kitchen to get cooking. Hi everyone, I'm Nikoletta from Nicoletta's Kitchen. I'm going to be cooking a beautiful Stifado for a winter warmer for this week's markets menu. Let's get cracking. First of all, we're going to brown our brisket beef in some extra virgin olive oil. Now I'm doing this in a oven-proof pot with a lid. If you don't have one of these, that's absolutely fine. You can get yourself a baking dish and then just cover it with foil and pop it in the oven. While that's browning, I'm going to start peeling my shallots. I'm going to peel about 6 of these, 6 or 8. They give really lovely flavour. Because they're so small, they're a lot different to your larger brown onions. I want to keep these shallots nice and whole. Good food isn't rushed. Tricky little buggers though. So you want to keep coming back and giving your meat a bit of a stir just so it doesn't catch or brown too much. You can get these beautiful shallots from either from Paddy's markets in Haymarket or Flemington or from your local greengrocer. Okay, those are our shallots done. Let's check our meat. Looking good, that's now nice and brown. We're going to remove the meat in a separate bowl. So I've used brisket cut today, but you can use your favorite cut of beef. Chuck beef steak works really well. We're going to leave all the juices in this pot and fry our shallots next. In go our shallots whole. We're just going to fry those off until they soften. Meanwhile, I'm going to clean some garlic cloves. You know your garlic's fresh when it peels this easily. So about 5 or 6 cloves for this one. I love a bit of garlic. Just don't kiss me the next day. I'm just going to roughly chop these into chunks. They don't have to be small at all. You can even throw these in whole, but mine are a little big today, so I'm just going to chop them up a little bit. We're not going to put our garlic cloves in just yet. Our shallots need to soften up a little bit more. You see these bits here? That is gold. That flavour is incredible. You want that. Love a bit of crusty bit. Okay, we're going to peel some potatoes and carrots to chuck into with our stew. That's a shallot, don't want that. All right, so I've got some Dutch creams here, fresh from Paddy's market. Now these are a beautiful potato, known as the queen of the potato. Auntie Eileen has taught me many things about potatoes, bless her. So these are really versatile spuds. You can bake them, you can boil them, mash them. We're actually going to chuck some of these in the stew and we are going to mash some too. I'm just cleaning any little eyes on the potatoes. So while our shallots are nice and soft, we're going to add our garlic. Next I'm going to roughly chop my carrot and potatoes. So if you want fairly large chunks, these are going to cook for a little while in the oven. We're going to leave it in for about an hour, so we don't want these to turn to mush. In these go. So potatoes don't go in right now. We're going to put them in after we've finished this off. So our carrots and shallots are caramelizing nicely. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, roughly. Give that a good mix. Gently, you don't want to break your shallots up. I'm going to add 4 fresh tomatoes because they're going to punch so much flavour into this stew. Plum tomatoes and tomato paste are all great, but fresh produce is where the flavour is at. So I'm just taking the stem out. Tomatoes have been quartered and we're going to chuck those in too. Give it a stir. That's looking so rich already. You know it's going to be good. Next we're going to add plum tomatoes. I heard that they use the better quality tomatoes for the plums, so that's just my preference. We're just gonna give it a bit of a mix, let it simmer for a couple of minutes before we add some more bits. It's time for some wine. We're gonna add about 200 mils. I'm gonna eyeball it. I reckon that's about right. Give that a stir and we're gonna leave that to reduce. I mean, I don't know my wines. I'm definitely not a wine person. This one was given to me by a friend who popped over for dinner. I'm more of a chocolate person, so I'm the chocolate monster. That's gonna simmer for a couple of minutes before we add some water and then our herbs and spices. That's starting to smell really good. We're going to add a little over half of a can of water. We're going to add a tablespoon of red wine vinegar, a pinch of dried oregano, and here I've got some spices and a couple of other herbs. So we've got some bay leaves. So we've got a cinnamon quill and some whole cloves going in there too. Next I'm going to add some fresh thyme, just a couple of stems going in, and some fresh oregano. We got these from Paddy's the other day. I love getting my fresh herbs from Paddy's. They're half the price from what you get in a supermarket. And fresher, straight from the farm. Before we add our meat back in, I'm just gonna season with salt and pepper. Drop your meat in gently. You don't want any splashback. And that juice right there, that's going in too. That is all flavor. Don't throw it away. The aroma from the spices, you can smell them already. This is now ready to go into our preheated oven. So we're going to switch the heat off here, pop the lid on, and this is going to go into our oven for an hour, and then we're going to put our potatoes in, and then it's going to cook for a further hour and a half. Our stifado has been cooking for an hour and it's bubbling awesomely. Oh, if you could smell these aromas right now. We're going to add our potatoes. So I'm just going to quarter them and then chuck them in. And then this is going to cook for another hour and a half. So this is a good point to check whether you've got enough liquid or enough water in here. Mine's looking pretty good, but if you find yours is a little bit dry around this point, you can just add a little bit more water. But mine's looking good. So in go our spuds. Look how beautiful and yellow these spuds look. I'm just going to hide them in there. So this is going back in the oven. Careful as you close your lid, it's still very hot. It's going to cook for an hour and a half, and then at the last 10 to 15 minutes we're going to remove the lid and then crank the heat up to get that beautiful colour. Alrighty, while our beef is cooking in the oven, we're going to get our mash ready. Now I'm using 2 potato varieties, the Dutch creams, which are a buttery, rich, flavoursome potato, and then these beautiful purple bliss. I picked these up from Auntie Eileen at Paddy's Market. Morning, Auntie Eileen.
How are you? Very well.
I'm going to be making a beef stew tomorrow, and
Right.
I need some potatoes for the mash. What would you recommend?
Well, for you today, how about we try the Dutch creams?
Yeah, I'm up for that.
They're a yellow potato.
Yeah.
They're known as the queen of the potatoes.
Right.
But it'll make a nice mash
You know
out of
what?
that.
I reckon you're the queen of the potatoes.
Oh, you say the nicest things.
We love Eileen.
We
Come
do,
on,
Eileen. Come
Do
on,
a dance.
Eileen. You gotta sing it.
Come on, Eileen.
That's it, that's it.
Show me some garlic.
Also, what you want to do is try these purple potatoes.
Purple potatoes.
These are called the purple bliss.
I'll give them a go. I've never tried cooking with purple potatoes.
Well, they're high in antioxidants and you'll cause a wow factor when you're cooking these.
Oh wow, everyone.
They are a superfood, you know.
All right, I have to let you know how I get
Yes,
on.
yes.
I'll see you next
Yeah,
week.
all the best.
Have a good day.
Yeah, thanks for coming to Paddy's.
I haven't used these before, so this will be a first. We're going to try these together, chop them up and then chuck them into some salted boiling water. Obviously, the smaller you cut them, the quicker they'll cook. Gently pop your potatoes into the boiling water, moving your hands away from you to avoid any splashback. And now with our purple bliss, I really can't wait to see how these turn out. We'll cook those until they drop off the knife. Oh, we're nearly there. Hot potato, hot potato. Beautiful. I'm going to turn these off now. Okay, purple bliss drained. I'm leaving my heat on to let any extra water evaporate. So I'm really excited to be trying these with you today, guys. So we're keeping them on the heat to help fluff them up. Oh, these are looking pretty good. So we're mashing up our Dutch creams. Get these back over the heat. This will help fluff these up too. Oh, we're bubbling. We're bubbling. Get ready, guys. Woo! Oh, fingers crossed. Here we go. Oh, yeah, look at that. This is looking perfect. Don't be afraid of these burnt looking bits on the side. It's bubbling, it's sizzling. You can smell all those spices, that red wine. It smells so rich. Imagine you're sitting at home, it's chucking it down with rain, and you've got this in the oven. I can't think of anything better, to be honest. All right, let's go for our Dutch cream. Let's make a little well. Now this is still sizzling, so be very careful as you plate up. We are going for the double potato, so we've got the potatoes, we've got the Dutch creams that we've put into our casserole, and we've got the mash. Need some of that sauce. Beautiful. I can't explain how good this smells. Guys, can you smell how good this is? Lovely. And we'll just finish that off with some fresh thyme. Okay, let's not forget about these beautiful purple bliss. We'll just have it on the side. There we are, guys, my Stifado recipe, a perfect winter warmer recipe for you. Make sure you give it a go. Find the recipe on paddysmarket.com.au. I'll see you next time.